Do your children wake up multiple times in the night? Do you lay down with your kids in the bed until they fall asleep? Have your children's sleep habits driven you to the point of madness and exhaustion? Well, have no fear. Help is at hand here. I remember one night struggling to put my own kids to bed when they were around 2 and 4, when I found myself watching a war film about prisoners of war and sleep deprivation, and I immediately identified with some of their feelings of feeling slightly detached and out of control, a bit disorientated and actually quite exhausted due to lack of sleep because we'd had a tough couple of weeks. Now, lots of parents I work with struggle on for much longer than I did, but here's what I came up with, and I hope it helps you. Try it and let me know how you get on. Now, I used to love the tooth fairy and all things magical as a child, so I imagined a sleep fairy popping into our house, sprinkling her magical fairy shimmering sleep dust over the kids and waving her magic wand full of deep sleep and magical dreams. So I got my kids together on the bed at story time, and I was full of enthusiasm, and I said, I've just heard that the sleep fairy is coming through Red Hill tonight. And the kids were intrigued and curious to hear more. So I got all inspired and I said, well, the sleep fairy helps little children sleep all the way through the night. And when they sleep all the way through the night without calling out or fussing or coming into mummy and daddy's bed during the night, then they receive a special little treat from her under their pillow, just like when the tooth fairy comes. Now, both of my children beamed at the idea that they would wake up to a surprise. And again, I advocate it only being a small one. And again, yes, it is bribery and corruption, but if it changes habits and patterns, let's do it. And I read them their story, I tucked them in, and I said, now, unless you have hurt yourself, you don't need me. It's time for falling asleep. And I popped on their music and their story tape. Well, it was over 10 years ago. And I kissed them goodnight, and guess what? They slept through that night and woke up to a little toy and some coloured pencils under their pillow. Now, some mornings they didn't make it through the night and the sleep fairy didn't come. But here are some ideas for using the sleep fairy to get your kids into a better routine. Here are my steps for success. Be reasonable. Make specific, reachable goals that your children can achieve. If you've got into a bad habit with your child, give them the goal of only waking up once in the night to earn a visit from the sleep fairy, for example. The key is to make the story fit your family and what you want to happen. Give clear instructions. Tell your child exactly what they have to do to get a visit from the sleep fairy. So when I say good night, you must stay in your bed and not call out, for example. And then start by rewarding every night. So your kids need to know that you can change their behaviour because you're going to go through this for a couple of weeks in your own head. So give it a couple of weeks to change your child's pattern. And then gently move to lots of praise or a sticker chart, making it harder to get the rewards for sleeping in or sleeping through the night or doing whatever you've set up, because the new habit then will have been established. And then you can move on to more intermittent or random reward systems once your little one has got the behaviour established and that your child falls asleep. And then you can say, well, the sleep fairy must go off now to help other children who have sleep problems. And she may visit once in a while. But, once your child's patterns and routines have settled, then perhaps the sleep fairy doesn't need to visit your house. They perhaps could visit, I don't know, every Friday night or something from time to time. But finally, let this system come to an end once the behaviour you want to see is established. Because once you get your regular hours of sleep, it's time for the sleep fairy to focus on other children in need. So I hope that helps. There's an article on my blog called The Sleep Fairy if you want to read more about it. So I hope that helps you get a good night's rest. Take care.